like one of my friends was like, "Oh, you're so annoying," and it's like, because you just can't walk in a straight line. It's like, have you ever done neurodiversity training of any variety? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, but have you?
It doesn't always translate into practice though, doesn't it? I think people think that they, you know, have learned something because they go on a course, they have the training, they tick that box, and then they haven't actually taken in the information, or they haven't changed what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because of that, and they still haven't really learnt it. It's just very surface level.
Yeah.
I definitely think there's that kind of penny dropping moment where people are able to adapt that experience to their own lives, and they're like, oh, that's why people feel like that. That's why people do that. That's why. But I think until you've kind of like been able to like compare it to something that you can like really relate to, it is just surface understanding, and I just don't think anyone can ever kind of get their head around it.
No. And it is, I mean, that links with the sort of double empathy problem, doesn't it? That I can speak to Emily and Rhiannon, and we might have similar experiences, and I can relate to things that Emily posts online, and I might say like, oh yeah, this experience has happened to me, but then neurotypical people will just dismiss that or say, oh no, that's never happened to me, that's not, but they can relate to each other. So, you know, and I think there is, I don't know how much research and evidence of it there is. I've read a lot about double empathy, but it does feel from like lived experience to be a thing that if I am in a room with a group of neurodivergent people, that we can communicate perfectly well and get along really fine, and none of us feel uncomfortable. And then if I'm, you know, it doesn't translate the other way, so it's just like it's almost like two different languages really. And so I can relate very easily to neurodivergent experience, whereas neurotypical people sometimes struggle to find that empathy with autistic people or ADHD people.
Because they're the majority as well, it's just a privilege, isn't it? Like, there's no kind of recognition that neurotypicality is a privilege, because the world's designed around your way of thinking.
And it's always an uncomfortable experience, isn't it? To you know, sitting here as like a white British woman, you know, like when you have your privilege pointed out to you, it can sometimes feel really uncomfortable. And I have had that experience sometimes, you know, sort of growing up and not really being fully aware of that privilege, and then having that pointed out to me and me going like, oh, that makes me feel almost dirty, you know, like it's really uncomfortable, thinking, oh, I've had all these benefits that other people out there just haven't had. And it is similar with, you know, if you've grown up neurotypical and you've never had to consider things like using Google Maps all the time to look at where you're going to go, or like, you know, like obsessively checking things like train times, or